Alright, and hello everybody, I'm the Sweeper27 and welcome to another Dokkan battle video. So, it was revealed a few days ago over on Twitter that this Super Saiyan BROLY was actually going to be getting his EZA. I feel like everybody expected it, we all knew that this was coming, but it is just really cool that it has been confirmed. And the night that I'm recording this, which is the 9th, in just a few hours, right now it is 10:47 p.m., so roughly 2:30 a.m. my time is probably when this guy should drop in-game. So by the time you guys are watching this, plenty of you should have had a little bit of experience with this guy under your belt if you've been playing, or if you like stayed up or whatever, or if you're in a completely different time zone. I don't know. But we're going to delve in, see what this guy really does. I have seen his kit over on Twitter, like the rough translations that Minato provided. Shoutouts to him, he's a great guy. So I have a generalized idea of what I think this unit does, but we're going to read the full kit here, and then I'm going to give, like, all of my judgments. So, this is Nightmarish Impact Super Saiyan BROLY. His leader skill is Resurrected Warriors, 4 key, 150 to stats, or Extreme Tech, 4 key, and 170. They couldn't buff this up. This is kind of an interesting omission, because if we look, what's an easy way that I can pull these guys up? None of the categories they share, and they don't link particularly well either. So, Golden Frieza and 17, they are a 160 leader, and Jiren, if I'm not mistaken, they gave Jiren a full 170. They really couldn't have buffed this up, especially for such a whack category like Resurrected Warriors. Like, there's zero synergy here, so I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit weird that they kept this as a 150, but I mean, hey, you're not going to really run this guy as a leader anyway, so I don't know. And also not buffing this is a bit odd. So he's not even going to be that great as a Battlefield leader. Because most of the time, like, what I do for Battlefield is I do Fusion Zamasu and then, what's his name? Roseanne Zamasu, Goku Black Zamasu, whatever you want to call it. So, you're not really going to be getting any advantages out of this. And I do want to say this right now. For the first couple of turns, this guy has the exact same name as Dragon Ball Super Broly's base form. So, there could be some same name shenanigans early on into fights with these guys. Thankfully, this guy does have a very good transformation condition, so even if it is like an issue, these guys show up on the same rotation on like turn 1 or turn 2, missing out on the links, that's only going to be an issue for the very start of the fight. So it shouldn't be like the biggest deal ever, but I could certainly see that being annoying, especially if you actually run this guy like on Broly's leader skill, because potentially there could be a situation where you have DBS BROLY, this guy, and the friend lead, turn 1, and then you're just not having any links, and then I hate stuff like that, especially since, like, I understand that, yes, this is Super Saiyan BROLY, and the other one is Super Saiyan BROLY, but Z BROLY and S BROLY, they're not similar at all. I don't know. The same name update is dumb. This should have been, we need more EP Beeruses in the game, as basically what I'm getting at. But, no one really cares about any of that. Let's go ahead and delve into this kid's passive. So, in his base form, at the start of turn, he gets 3 key and 200 to stats. I love to see this number. This is the bare minimum of what any EZA or recent modern release should have, in my opinion. He gets an additional 120% to stats when he performs a super attack. He gets an additional 120% to stats if it's an ultra super attack, so 18 key and above. He gets an additional 50% attack when the targeted enemy is an attack down or defensive down status. That is relevant. There are several fights where you actually are able to debuff. Cell Max, once you get deep into it, I don't actually know if you can debuff any of the Goku and Frieza event. I don't actually know. Because I know you can't stun or... You might not actually be able to debuff at all in that fight. That's interesting. But this is relevant. There are fights where you are able to debuff, and then this guy just naturally gets that much stronger in those phases. So that is a nice little buff. Some defense here would have been appreciated, but what can you do? He gets an additional 3 key and launches a guaranteed additional that has a 50% chance of being a super attack when facing one enemy. He gets an additional 5 key and launches a guaranteed additional super attack when facing 2 or more enemies, and then he transforms when his conditions are met. His condition is his active skill, which we can see down here, which is just transforms from the 4th turn starting from battle. So if you get this guy on turn 1, you can float him. He'll show back up on turn 4. You can instantly transform with him, which I think you're going to want to have like the Gogeta mentality, because this base form, if I'm being completely honest, it kind of sucks, I think. So he has a lot of stats, but he has a couple of flaws. Let's go ahead and kind of delve into them. So yes, 200% to stats is very good, But I'm kind of thinking about, like, Kefla. Kefla is a unit who, at the start of turn, she gets 200% defense, and before she supers, she gets caught. Like, she can take a lot of damage if she's ever put into a slot 1 situation. Post-super, most of the time, she is fairly fine. And this guy is getting a ludicrous amount of stats, but not having guard or damage reduction or even dodge, I could see this base form getting slapped up, especially if we look at a unit like Full Power Jiren should show up here. Yeah. This guy can get caught very early on, and if we're looking here, he has naturally higher stats at the start of turn. He's getting a very similar buff right here if you're above an HP threshold. Like, this guy can get slapped up, even post-super. So I'm imagining this version of Broly is going to have a very similar performance to TEQ Jiren. Like, this guy will probably out-damage him, or at least I would imagine he would out-damage him. But you could, again, run into situations where you put this guy into slot 2, he tanks a lot of damage. And right now, the villain team, we don't have a bunch of, like, healing options. Like, obviously, like, Broly Chain Line Limo heal, I guess, if you drop below, like, the 30% HP threshold, they change the full field of orbs. I guess we have that, but, like, Cell Max doesn't provide healing to the team. You're not going to run this guy with, like, Fat Boo. I mean, I guess you could. They're both on Resurrected Warriors, but realistically, you're not going to be running this guy with Fat Boo. They're just, like, all these villain healing units, you're not going to have them on the same team, so early on into, like, certain events, like, this guy, I think, will be a fish up against Cell Max, but potentially in the Goku and Frieza event, just because that starting off phase against Gohan and Golden Frieza, it's worthless. That phase might as well not exist. This guy will be pretty fine early on. But yeah, he can get caught. I do think that this base form is going to be taking maybe not a lot of damage. Like, if there's a slot 2 super, you're probably just outright dead. Like, I don't see him tanking this at all, even with these, like, ridiculous amount of stats. Well, hold on. Let me look at his super attack effects. So, for his 12 key, he gets 30% attack for the turn, colossal damage to the enemy, and then he debuffs defense by 50%. This is nice. He doesn't get any defense on it, though. And he doesn't debuff offensively. Okay. And then on his 18 key, greatly stacks... Wait... Yeah, that's a stack. Greatly stacks attack, raises defense for 1 turn, causes colossal damage to the enemy, and then massively lowers defense. So that's a 100% lower. That's a 50% lower. And he stacks attack. Oh, this guy's actually pretty good then. Dude, the Broly team can genuinely 1 phase, like, almost every fight in the game. 1 to 2 phase. They have so many stackers. I mean, that's good. Why doesn't he get defense here? Were they afraid that an extra 240 to stats would be too much? Well, surely not. Well, I guess they plan out EZAs far, far, far in advance. Like, there's no way they could have, like, seen the community reaction to TEQ Jiren and be like, TEQ Jiren was a little bit underpowered. They're not going to have enough time to tweak this, really. Like, this was probably designed, like, last year during the Worldwide Download Celebration. Just because they're that far ahead. And he does get better against 2 enemies. Right now, we don't have too many hard fights that are multiple enemies. But, I mean, getting a guaranteed... Well, the thing is, the guaranteed additional doesn't really matter. I mean, you're debuffing defense, I guess. But no defense and no attack stacking. He gets extra ki, too, which is nice. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to do very good damage. But I just think his tanking is going to be littling, so if you run him again in, like, some of these big hitters early on, I think he could get caught. Let's see if when he transforms that changes. But before we do, Saiyan Warrior Race, Saiyan Lineage, Berserker, Prepared for Battle, Legendary Power, Fierce Battle, and Super Saiyans. Dude, Berserker might actually be a relevant link nowadays, because this unit has it, Int Broly has it, I believe the brand new Carnival Broly has it, and Dragon Ball Super Broly has it, and Cell Max has it. So hold on, this unit, Int Broly, Carnival Broly, DBS Broly, Cell Max. That's 5 units you could run on the team that are all going to have Berserker. So if you drop below the HP threshold, man, like, you're going to be... What is Berserker? It's an extra 30% attack, right? Yeah, an extra 30% attack when HP is 50% or less. Yeah, look at all these. These are 5 modern units that are all on the exact same team. You could actually get some value out of Berserker, especially, I mean... That might be good, then, that this guy is a little bit weaker offensively, because you could get Berserker early on into fights, but I'm not a huge fan of that. If he, like, lowered attack here, and then lowered defense here, I would be singing a little bit of a different tune. But Yeah, so right now, I'm not the biggest fan of his base form not having any sort of defense mechanic whatsoever. Like, Int BROLY would tank better without his full passive being up, as opposed to this guy. Because at least he has, like, the damage reduction, and he stacks defense. He doesn't get a lot of defense. He only gets 20%. But if people are complaining about running BROLY without his passive up, this guy is going to get caught a lot early on. But he does have a transformation that can make up for it. So, again, you can do this turn 4, so you get this guy turn 1, you just float him off, and then boom. You now have the legendary Super Saiyan BROLY, he transforms. You now have no more issues with the same name stuff, so this is looking very, like, appealing. He gets 4 ki and 220% to stats at the start of turn, so he gets an extra 20 to stats and 1 ki. He gets an additional 120% attack and defense, and launches an additional that has a 50% chance of being a super when performing a super attack. Okay. Chance of performing a crit plus 6% for all extreme class allies for 2 turns. He gets an additional 166% attack and guards all attacks when performing an 18 ki. He gets an additional 100% attack when the enemy is debuffed. He gets an additional 4 ki and launches an additional that has a 70% chance of being a super when facing 1 enemy. And then he gets an extra 6 ki and launches an additional super attack when facing 2 or more enemies. So he at least now... Dude, he's going to be hitting so hard. And he has guard. Is he still going to get slapped? Hold on. 120. 340 with guard. I mean, he still might take what are his super attack effects? So for his 12 ki, he gets 30% attack and defense for 1 turn, colossal damage to the enemy, and then greatly lowers defense. And then on the 18 ki, greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, mega colossal damage to the enemy, and then massively lowers defense. How many supers can he do in a turn? You do your 18 ki. Alright. Let's say you get this, so that's 2. You get this 3. Hit a potential system 4. He can quad super. I mean, I feel like you're gonna get at least a 12 ki and an 18 ki. I feel like that's very likely to happen. I don't know, man. He might actually get caught. Just having guard. And 230... Because he no longer gets defense on his 18 ki. He gets guard instead. Okay, hold on. Plus an additional 120 to stats. And launches an additional... I know we don't have an AoE boss right now outside of, like, Gogeta. But this guy's gonna suck against AoE bosses. Because it's when performing. So if there's an AoE in slot 1, this guy's only going to have 220% defense. And that's his full defensive mechanic. So you can't run this guy in, like, Gogeta. Because if Gogeta decides to AoE before this guy gets a chance to super, he's a fish. Like, this is just a lose con at that point. Just having guard. I mean, guard is good. I'm not trying to, like... I don't know, I may also be a little bit apprehensive because I was really hyped about BROLY, and then when using BROLY, I found out BROLY was fine. He's like a 6 or a 7 out of 10, and just in case you haven't seen my other videos about him. But BROLY has, like, 59% damage reduction, he stacks. I'm just worried that his defense is going to be too low. But granted, let's assume you get, like, perfect RNG. So you're 18 ki, you're getting guard. And you're getting 50% defense here. Alright? And then let's say this is that's an extra 30. Let's say you get this, that's another 30. And then you get the hit potential system, that is another 30. So that's 90 plus 50, that's an extra 140% defense. Plus guard. He should be able to eat normals at that point. Like, at that point, his defense should roughly be around at least 1 million plus. With guard. He'll be able to eat normals. Yeah, okay. I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out over nothing. He'll be able to eat normals. Now, if there's a slot 2 or slot 3 super, I think this guy's going to be cooked. Like, I might be wrong, but I doubt it. Yeah, I can't see this kid eating a super. But I do feel comfortable about him eating normals. After he does, like, if he gets, like, a good super turn, surely. I'm just interested as to why they didn't give him defense here. I guess the defense is the guard. He is giving crit support to all extreme class allies. 6% is a little low. If I'm not mistaken... No. Because MUI and SSBE, they give 7% crit for 2 turns on their 18 key, I think is what their ability is. And we don't have any... See, the good thing about them, right? Because if you're running AGL, MUI, and SSBE, they stack. So if you get 2 of those, like they both super on the same turn, you're running them as a main rotation, for example, they're giving 14% chance to crit for 2 turns for all allies. And you can make that 21% if you're running the Int Universe 7 unit, the 17. No other extreme class unit does this. So this is nice, but you're really not going to see this proc too often. Because most of them are already critting. Like, DBS BROLY, he's a 52% chance to crit. The new Carnival BROLY, he's a 50%, upwards to 100% if you're going up against a Goku enemy. Oh, speaking of which, this unit doesn't have crit in his passive. What? Hold on. Yeah, he doesn't have crit or super effective against all types. Were they that worried about him doing damage? That they couldn't give him anything? Oh, I don't know about this. Like, I know his attack stats are going to be insanely high. That's the thing, right? Like, that's why this people, like, you could still... Like, I've seen videos of people running this guy nowadays, and he's launching, like, a 58 million super attack pre-EZ8 or something along those lines, I think is what I saw on Twitter. Because what is this guy's... Yeah, I mean, this guy... If I'm seeing people get, like, that high attack stats with, like, all, like, the support that they're able to surround him around with, like, DBS BROLY's domain, potentially you could do some orb changing to give him extra stats that way. Like, this guy will hit like a truck. The entire team does. But is he a lose con? I mean, you go full crit and this guy's hit a potential system. Do you? Do you go dodge for him? I might be grossly underestimating this guy's defense here. Because I think if you get a bunch of supers, he should be close to 1 million with guard. So he should be able to eat any normals in the game. Because as far as I'm aware, the hardest hitting normals in the game are still Gogeta Blue, which are 1 million. And then if he supers, they're like 1.5 million. I think this guy could eat those normals even after Gogeta supered. I think. But you can't debuff Gogeta defensively. You can only debuff him offensively, I think. So you're not going to be getting this. Does anyone else on Super Bosses debuff? BROLY, Chinline, and Limo do on their 12 key. They debuff offensively. And so do, like, Golden Frieza. If you want to bring Golden Frieza into that fight. I mean, I've done it before. To try to make the movie bosses team work. Interesting. I'll have to see him in-game. I will say that I'm somehow more apprehensive about this guy's kit as opposed to Int BROLY. But we all saw how Int BROLY turned out. He is also stacking at his base. Did he stack at his base form before? No, he had no effect on his super attack. He just debuffed. So they gave him attack stacking here. And it's a greatly raised attack stat. But more likely than not, you're going to float him. Like, I can't really see you keeping this guy on a main rotation unless there's, like, 60 attacks in slot 3 and 0 in slot 2. Then you put him in slot 2, you keep him on the rotation. That way you don't die. I mean, I guess that could happen. And you could greed out 2 stacks with him. Because he is going to hit like a truck. Especially with this. So his active skill, which is Kakaroto. It can be activated. It can just be activated after he transforms. There's no, like, turn restrictions or anything. So you can just do this immediately. Okay. So he gets guaranteed 24 ki. And an extra 48% attack for 1 turn. They couldn't give him crit. Oh, yeah, they can't change what the effect does. That's right, that's right, that's right. I'm really wishing this guy had crit anywhere in here. Like, even a... Does this affect him? Chance to perform a crit plus 6% for extreme class allies for 2 turns. It doesn't say self-excluded. So I guess... But he's already going to perform his 18 ki. Yeah, he's designed in a very odd way. He gets a lot of buffs post-super, though. Like, he's giving support. He's getting the extra attack. Again, an AoE boss, though, is going to absolutely destroy him. I'll have to see him in game. I'll have to see him in game. Right now, I think he's just going to be fine. What are his links? Same warrior race, same lineage, berserker, prepare for battle. Oh, do they stay exactly the same? Yeah, they stay exactly the same. All right, so his links don't change. But let's look at the bright side. He's going to be sharing 6 out of 7. This Broly has Shocking Speed. This one has Hardened Grudge. So those are the two differences that these ones have. You have Shocking Speed and... what is your other one that you have? Oh, wait, actually, let's check this. How easy is it going to be to get you to 18 key? So you're going to get 6 key due to the leader skill. That's 10. That's 14. So he's going to need either 2 type orbs or 4 other orbs to get him to his 18 key. Is he just bad if you don't get him the 18 key, though? I mean, I would say yeah, honestly. Because he doesn't have a defensive mechanic until you do this. Interesting. I mean, giving him 2 type orbs, that should be the hardest thing, but if you've seen my recent gameplay videos, you know how hard it is for me to get orbs on some of these rotations. I'm going to say that he seems offensively insane. Like, this guy's going to be doing so much damage in tandem with Carnival Broly, Int Broly, DBS Broly, Cell Max. You will be 1 to 2 phasing every boss in the game, I would imagine. Except for the ones who have, like, 100 million plus HP. Because then you might 3-turn them or something stupid like that. I don't know. But, I mean, dude, just give him super effective against all types when I let 24 key or something. Wait. Turles. What does Turles give? What is Turles' buff? No, wait, it's Team Turles, it's not. I should have clicked on movie bosses. Team Turles. What is your support? Terrifying Conquerors or Planetary Destruction category allies get 3 key and 50% to stats. Surely you're on Planetary Destruction, right? Let's look at his categories as well, because I forgot to do this in his base form. Pure Saiyan, Super Saiyan, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Transfer... oh, he's on... but wait. You could run this kid with the trio. The trio would make this guy very safe, actually. Okay. Okay, Broly. Transformation boost, full power, uncontrolled power. This category still sucks. Movie bosses, Resurrected Warriors, Legendary Existence, Revenge, Target Goku, and Human Needs. He is on Planetary Destruction, thank God. Alright. So... actually, I'm going to pause the recording real quick. I want to see what this kid's 200% are. Alright, so we have his other page pulled up. I don't understand why the wiki does stuff like this, where this page, that information is unobtainable. The only way I know how to get to this information is actually to go to the 200% leader skill tool, and then click on the page. If anyone else knows how to navigate this website better than I do, much appreciated. I always love learning new things. And something interesting about this, I was wrong. It is not going to be 2:30 a.m. It's going to be 4 a.m. I don't know why he's dropping later, or are they just trying to make this the new unified time of when he's going to drop? I don't know. But let's look at his 200% real quick. He has a bunch. So obviously he's on Carnival Broly, he's on DBS Broly's. He's not on the brand new trio's 200%, but he is on the 170, which is nice. This is yet another Frieza. Actually, no, it's not. He's on a he's on a Terrifying Conqueror. I feel like Vegeta's slowly falling out of favor of being a leader. So I don't know how I feel about running Vegeta. Like, Vegeta's so good. Just because he is just, like, the better Tech Ultimate Gohan. But running 2 of them on your team, you can certainly struggle, because he is a slot 1 unit, but we just have better slot 1 units. This has not been the year for TURs, which is insane, because we've gotten some very good TURs, but, like, this year is almost entirely dominated by LRs and how they perform. So he just naturally doesn't have the stats and the abilities to keep up, unfortunately. So he has 2 very competitive 200%, a very competitive, we're just going to pretend that this is the trio, a very competitive 170. I mean, dude, I might honestly run this guy more so on the All-Out Struggle Super Saiyan Power of Wishes team than I do on Movie Bosses. Because Movie Bosses right now needs another good defensive unit. Like, hold on, I'm gonna pull up a video that I've used Movie Bosses in. Okay, so if we look at this video right here, this is actually for my Int Broly World Tour video. But if we look right here, this is the, like, Movie Bosses team that I've been running. I want to get this guy out of here. He is so good on turn 1, which is nice, but, like, he tapers off so fast in today's... I've had him with 90% damage reduction take damage on some of these supers, right? just because that's how hard some of these bosses are hitting and just how naturally low his stats are by comparison. It's crazy. I would much rather run the TUR in a lot of instances. I do know the TUR will take more damage, but at least the TUR consistently has 90% damage reduction throughout the whole fight unless you drop below the HP threshold. But, so, I mean, I guess we take you off. We add on the new TEQ BROLY. That doesn't still change the fundamental issue that this team doesn't have very tanky options. Like, a lot of these units can be risky. Like, Turles, he dies to supers. This guy can die to supers. This guy can die to normals. This fraud can die to normals. I know he's only 55%, but still, I've lost more times because of cell max than I'm willing to admit. We just don't have a lot of tanking. We have a lot of offensive power. Like, this guy, insane levels of damage. Insane levels of damage. Like, very competitive levels of damage. I mean, decent damage. Very insane levels of damage. We add on this new TEQ BROLY, who I imagine is going to be hitting on the same level as, like, these two, if not higher, especially on the turn that you activate the active skill. I mean, is the best defense a good offense? I mean, that's kind of the way that this team is being built. And I did say that earlier, because you don't need to worry about your slot 3 unit dying if the boss dies before they have a chance to hit them. But moving too fast can also be an issue. Like, Cell Max, he needs to get hit. If you move too fast, you can't, like, set up orbs for these guys, so sometimes you just open into a new phase and you're into death. This guy stacks, so moving too fast. I mean, he stacks defense pretty slowly, but he does stack defense. The only unit on this team who really benefits from going fast is Golden Frieza, but even still, Golden Frieza on turn 3 sucks. Outside of his debuff that you're able to afflict in several of these phases. So I don't know. I would say that the way he's designed isn't what movie bosses needed. Now, with all that said, he is still going to be very, very good. It's just, I guess I'm not the biggest fan of the additions he's adding to the team as a whole. But I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to see him in-game. I'll have to see his performance. I'll have to see how easily he can nuke through phases. I'm going to have to see his base form tank. This guy will almost assuredly get his own long video. I do kind of like doing those longer world tours where I just do random rotations and I talk about how the unit does or whatever. Like, I had a lot of fun doing that for Int BROLY because that was a really big eye-opening moment for Int BROLY. Again, Int BROLY never died that entire video. I think every other unit on the team died except for him and Carnival BROLY. I'm pretty sure every other unit I brought died at least once. So, maybe, I mean, we can bring him. Maybe he'll really, really impress me. We won't know. Again, he will be dropping at 4 a.m., apparently, according to the wiki. I will not be awake. I have a pretty busy day tomorrow that I have to be up early for, so I'm actually going to try to go to bed early for once. I'm going to be going to bed before 5 a.m. That's going to be insane. Wish me guys luck. Wish me guys luck? Wish me luck, guys. There we go. But let me know. Again, this video will, like, by the time it goes up, this unit will be in the game for about 13 and a half hours. So several of you guys will be able to actually use the unit. So let me know what, like, in the comment section if you've used him. Let me know how you feel about him. Let me know if you like what he's adding to the team. Again, I'm more interested to run him on the Super Saiyan team as opposed to movie bosses. We'll see. I mean, I'll try out both. If you guys want to see, like, a long showcase video, I would absolutely love to do that. I still have to do the long showcase for Physical Super Saiyan 2 Angel Vegeta, because that was recommended in the comments, so that'll be the next one that I do. That might actually be tomorrow's upload, depending on how my day goes tomorrow, but I guess we'll see. Only time will tell. But that is going to be all for this time, guys. I've been the Super27. I'm a variety Twitch streamer and an up-and-coming PNG YouTuber trying to make it big in the world. I have a Twitter, a Twitch, a TikTok, and a YouTube, the links to which can all be found in the description of this video. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, share me around, and leave me a comment, positive, negative, or indifferent. I would love just any sort of interaction I can get from everybody. But that's going to be all for now. So, as always, I've been the Super27, and I am signing off.